The most expensive mistake in business isn't losing money, it's losing time. Because money comes back, but time doesn't. And once you understand this, it's easy to see how you can easily lose months or years feeling like you're making progress, feeling busy, but not actually getting anywhere. Now, I'm filming this in late February 2026, and the reason that this video exists is because I've had a pretty uncomfortable realization recently. About a year ago, I got proof for the first time that the market would pay me directly for my skills. And instead of taking that proof and locking in and compounding it, what I actually did is I basically spent the last year doing fake work. And the part that makes this the most dangerous is that at the time, I did not realize. I didn't experience it as fake work. I thought I was making real, meaningful progress. I thought I was building foundations, maturing the business, tightening positioning, getting systems in place, cleaning up delivery. It all sounded reasonable. It all felt productive. And I genuinely believed at the time that it was necessary. Now, with hindsight, it's obvious to me what it really was. Avoidance. Now let me take you back to the moment that should have changed everything, because this is where the trap began. About a year ago, I was panicking because I didn't really have a business yet. I had one client, and that client was basically my old employer on a services contract. So it was effectively just employment with a few extra steps. And as the hours scaled down, I could feel the math turning against me. My income was heading below my expenses. I had no savings buffer and no runway that I could hide behind. So I did what a panicking man does in this situation. I opened LinkedIn and I went feral. I sent 21 messages, heard nothing back, got absolutely cooked by the silence, and so I panic blasted 347 DMs in a single morning. That's not strategy, that is survival. And it was reckless enough that I could have easily gotten spam blocked, but it worked. Out of the 368 messages, I got 58 replies, 57 people said no, and 1 said yes. And that one yes turned into more than $10,000. That was the very first receipt. That was the universe literally handing me proof that the game is real. It proved I could sell, it proved I wasn't trapped. It proved I could go to market and get paid directly for my skills, which is the entire foundation of escaping a corporate job in the first place. And when you get proof like that, the rational move is simple. You keep selling. Not in a psychotic 347 message a day kind of way, but in a consistent, sustainable, daily compounding loop. Because once you have proof, your only job is to repeat the loop and let time do its thing. But that's not what I did. What I did was I got a few wins and I had more work flow in than expected. And the moment the urgency disappears, your brain does something pretty evil. It starts protecting your ego by routing you towards work which looks productive but doesn't expose you to rejection. Because real work, the kind that actually changes your life, is the same thing that makes you feel exposed. Selling is exposure. Publishing is exposure. Asking is exposure. Shipping is exposure. Putting your offer in front of a stranger and waiting to see if you're even worth replying to is exposure. So instead of doing that consistently, I did what every founder does when they're scared and they don't want to admit it to themselves. I made myself busy. I started improving the business. This shows up as brand tweaks, website tinkering, offer reshuffling, back-end templates, systems, positioning tweaks, refinements, research, planning, strategy, all the things that let you tell yourself that you're working, but yet none of them require you to risk any rejection today. And this is the part that a lot of people don't want to hear, but it's key. Fake work is productivity that protects your ego. Real work is often the thing that risks rejection. And the dangerous thing is if you're smart, you're even more vulnerable to this because you can literally justify anything to yourself. You can build yourself a beautiful narrative as to why you can't start selling yet. The website just needs one more pass. The offer needs to be tighter. The templates need to be perfect. Why you need to get more clarity, why you need to set foundations. Now, all of this stuff sounds mature and strategic, but it's really just fair with better vocabulary. And the most dangerous part is that you can do this forever. You can literally spend months of your life moving pixels, making documents, refining processes, and convincing yourself that things are about to take off. And then you look up and nothing has changed. No new clients, no new pipeline, no revenue growth, no momentum, just a calendar page and you being older. That is the failure mode, and here is what makes this the most brutal when I look back. I didn't waste that year because I was lazy. I was working the entire time. I wasted it because I got comfortable. When I thought things were going to collapse around me, when the house was on fire, I could literally send 347 DMs in a single fucking morning. And on the other hand, when I felt safe, I could avoid selling for months and just tell myself some excuse that I was building. So the truth is that this wasn't a capability problem, it was an urgency problem. And the cost of comfort is time. Now, I want to make this useful for anyone watching this, because it's easy to say, yeah, I get it, and then just go straight back into fake work tomorrow. So here are 2 tools that you can actually use to stop this from happening. The first is a diagnostic that you can run on any task that you're currently doing before you started. Ask yourself the simple qualifying question: does this task create new revenue, pipeline, or an asset that can produce revenue within the next 30 days? If the answer to that is no, then it's either fake work or it's a luxury that you do not need right now. Luxuries come after momentum, not before it. And if it feels safe and satisfying and it gives you that warm feeling of I'm being productive, well, that's actually a terrible sign. And that's usually the tell that you're hiding in fear. And the second is what I call the embarrassment test, because this is one of the cleanest filters that I've ever found. Simply ask, if I do this today, can I be rejected because of it? If the answer is yes, it's probably real work. And if the answer is no, it's probably fake. Because you can't be rejected by your Notion dashboard. And you can't be rejected by a prettier website. You can't be rejected by a new logo. But you can be rejected by a sales message, an offer, a call, a pitch, a proposal, a price. And that is why people avoid it. And that leads to the simplest rule of all, which is the one that I'm living by now, because I am not paying this tax again. If you actually want to grow, you need a daily compounding loop. And for most people, that loop is selling. Not a panic sprint where you're threatened, or a reactive burst when you're scared, just a boring daily system that makes it impossible to hide. Because this is the real cost, and this is what I wish I understood a year ago. A year doesn't disappear in one dramatic failure. It disappears in 1,000 tiny, reasonable decisions where you chose the safe task instead of the exposed one, and you tell yourself that you'll do the hard thing tomorrow. Well, what happens is this: tomorrow becomes next week, and next week becomes next month. And then all of a sudden you look up and you're a year older and you're still chasing the same goals, telling yourself the same story about how you're building. So if you're watching this and you've been working for months, but your numbers literally haven't moved, your pipeline isn't growing, and your calendar is full of tasks that feel productive but they don't involve rejection, then I'm going to tell you straight up, you're not building, you're hiding. And you're paying for it with your life. Money comes back, time doesn't. So stop doing the thing that makes you feel safe and start doing the thing that makes you feel exposed, because that is the only work that changes your trajectory.